Hello everyone, this is Wrestling Watcher, a YouTube channel. It's about watching professional wrestling. So Jelly Roll, Grammy Award winning singer, Jelly Roll gets the win over Kit Wilson on SmackDown. Now for those that don't know, this was set up kind of last week with an in-ring segment between Kit Wilson and Jelly Roll, where Kit Wilson has been challenging modern standards of toxic masculinity. And him and Jelly Roll had a segment, and they went back and forth last week. And a match happened this week. But Kit Wilson was cursed by Danhausen. And Danhausen also cursed The Miz last week. And that's kind of the little ongoing backstage feud they've been running with. Now, eventually, Danhausen has to get into the ring, and he has had some matches. You can look them up on YouTube. Now, if I'm booking, WrestleMania has to have that comedy match, right? The silliness match, the not serious match that kind of lets everyone breathe and laugh and have a good time, right? We almost always get one every single year. If I'm booking, I guess I would go with Jelly Roll and Danhausen versus Miz and Kit Wilson. Now, for those that don't know, The Miz has been mentoring Kit Wilson on screen, right? They have kind of a little bit of an alliance going, and Danhausen has been trying to get Miz to mentor him. But Miz has said no, and Danhausen has cursed both of them. Now, I gotta be honest, I wasn't really a fan of the whole Danhausen gimmick for a long time. I thought it was just too stupid. I thought it was like, this is silly, this will never get over. But now that I see how WWE is using him, as a backstage comedy gimmick, as he comes out and he does t-shirts with the crowd, he gets a bit of a reaction. He's entertaining. He's entertaining to watch. Like, his segments are just sort of like, you can tell he takes his character seriously, and he puts everything he has into it. And that makes him entertaining. Now, I don't know what the future holds for him. I think he is kind of that future comedy gimmick going forward. Unfortunately, I do think R-Truth is getting up there in age. He has his tag team title run with Damian Priest going on. I think that's going to be kind of like a final goodbye for him eventually. But I think Danhausen will assume that comedy role. And no one's ever going to, when it comes to comedy wrestling, R-Truth is always going to be the gold standard comedy gimmick. Like, if you have a Mount Rushmore of comedy wrestlers, R-Truth is that top guy. I guess you'd have to put Santino up there. And then the next two, you can debate all day, right? Maybe Kurt Angle or someone like that. The fourth can be whoever. I'd have to really think about that. But, when we look back at this, I should say, I guess Jelly Roll going forward could be like kind of a low mid-card anchor. Like, if you've got a low mid-card feud or something going and they've got Jelly Roll potentially available, call him up and put him in it and add some extra heat to whatever they're doing. Because if we look at this without Jelly Roll, if you have just Danhausen with Kit Wilson and Miz there, it's not quite as big as if you put Jelly Roll in it. But, that's the match I would go with, is Kit and Miz versus Jelly Roll and Danhausen. Danhausen brings the comedy. Jelly Roll brings some star power, outside star power, but still star power. Kit Wilson brings a guy that can wrestle and take the majority of the bumps in the match. And obviously The Miz is the big, long-time veteran that can put it all together and kind of make it work. But that's the match I would go with at Mania. That's all for this one, guys. Thank you.